I'm Victor Fernandez of Fernandez Fit, and I'm here to show you why fitness is our business. Hello and welcome once again to the Healthy Lives, Healthy Business podcast, the show that helps busy professionals balance their demanding personal and professional lives through health and fitness. I am your host, Victor Fernandez. Thanks for joining me as you do each and every week. I truly appreciate it. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show, first of all, welcome. Secondly, make sure to subscribe to the show and share it far and wide because many more people need to learn that fitness is our business. Now, for those of you that have been following along, hopefully from the beginning, a little more than 3 years ago, this is episode number 103 of this show and episode number 1 of my 53rd year on this earth. Yes, folks, I celebrated my 53rd birthday last Sunday, and in the weeks leading up to my birthday, I've been sort of hemming and hawing as to when would be a good time to reveal a bit of exciting news that has been nearly a year in the making. I guess you could say I've been looking for a sign, and this week surely has provided it. Yes, you guessed it, the presidential election, and specifically the contentious debates that have arisen since that historic election took place earlier this week. But I'll get to the connection between the two here in just a moment. First, the news. I have completed at least the manuscript of my first solo book project. And it's called Reclaiming My Authentic Self, A Journey from Fear to Freedom. I firmly believe that there are two sides to every story, regardless of the situation involved. And there's certainly two sides to my adult life. There's the side of fear, where I was afraid to really put myself out there and really capitalize on the goals that deep down inside I had set for myself, but wasn't confident enough to pursue. And now the freedom side, where frankly, I go for it. Whether I succeed or fail, certainly it matters, but not enough to not go for it. The only way I can certainly succeed is to go for it and do the best I can. So that's number one. That's exciting for me. Don't have a specific date as to when the book will be launched. It's going to be sometime in the early portion of 2025 in the coming year. Now that the manuscript is finally written, and I'll be honest with you, it's been a long time coming, really, probably at least 3 decades in coming. This is something I've always wanted to do and just didn't have the guts to do it until now. And I've had some great people, certainly help me along the way to kind of push me, my family certainly, my publishers, Jonathan Loudermilk and Renee Loudermilk of Smart Shark and Smart Publishing, really kind of prodded and cajoled me into doing this, and really, putting myself out there. And the reason I chose to share it this particular week of all weeks is because one thing you see, you've seen it these past several days, and you're going to see it for quite some time moving forward. Frankly, you see it all the time, especially when people start talking politics, you know what happens next. You see so many people, the way they choose to behave, the way they choose to carry themselves and conduct themselves, and the way they impact the otherwise, you would think, great relationships they've built in their lifetime, in their adult lives especially, how they allow their political beliefs and really the absolute, unyielding need to be right to impact all those things, to impact all those people. So for me, it got me thinking. These past several days, I finished the manuscript just a week or two earlier. So I have had time to sort of mull it over in my head and really get a sense of not just how it turned out, but how I feel about it. And I always point back to one thing. The hardest aspect of doing this had nothing to do with the writing. If you've been following along, if you follow me on social media and on this show, you know that before I became a health and fitness coach and owner of a health and fitness business, Fernandez Fit, I was in the sports journalism industry for 26 years, up until about 5 years ago or so. And so writing was never an issue. I mean, I was one who, before long, I could sit up in a noisy press box in any arena, wherever it happened to be, and have 10 minutes to write 500 words on the game that's unfolding in front of me. And I'm able to focus and get it done, almost on autopilot. When you do it as long as I did, when you do it as long as many of my colleagues have done, there's many out there who have done it far longer than even I did. You develop that knack to really get in the zone and do what you got to do. So the writing aspect wasn't the hardest and most challenging and most daunting aspect of this project. It was the bearing of my soul. And I know it probably seems a bit surprising to some of you out there, especially if you follow me on social media, because my life is an open book. I say it and I back it up. I put it all out there, good, bad, and ugly, in hopes that it helps somebody. Thankfully, over the years, I've learned from all the many mistakes that I've made in my lifetime, personally and professionally. And I'm hoping to help people either avoid making those same mistakes, or at least to navigate through the ones they've made and come out better on the other side. That's why I do it. But this was different, because I started this project, nearly a year ago, and not long after I started it, I mean, there's been lots of stops and starts along the way. Not long after I started it, my father, who I'm named after, passed away. Passed away nearly a year ago to the day, November 30th of last year. And one of the stops came in the time after he had passed away. And not simply because I wanted to be there for my family, to support my family, my mom especially, but because I just wasn't in the right headspace to really tackle this project the right way. I don't know if that's quite the phrase I'm looking for, but we'll stick with that. Because to me, with me having two sides to my adult life, the fear and the freedom, as the title of my book entails, I wanted to make my dad proud. I still do. And I wanted to make sure that when I sat down in front of this very computer and really dug deep into it, that my mind was in the right place. It was coming from a genuine, authentic place. Because you're never prepared for death. My dad made it to his 80th birthday, passed away a week after celebrating his 80th birthday. So I realize I'm 53. I don't have that many. If I pass away at the same age, I don't have all that many years left. It may seem like a lot, but let's face it, time flies by fast, especially as we get older. I mean, this year has gone by incredibly fast, and I imagine it's only going to get faster as we move forward. And for me, I wanted to make sure that I was authentically real while also honoring his memory. And when I sit down and I see the contentious debates going on, when I see the anger-filled rhetoric that's out there, that's been out there in the run-up to the election, and certainly in the days since, and I see people, as silly as it sounds, unfriending each other on social media, people who have known each other for years, our friends, our family, and then never speak to each other again because they can't agree on this topic, this political topic, or that political topic, or can't agree on who won the election, who lost the election, why, and how, and what's taking place, and what's taken place already, and what potentially could happen in the future. They can't see eye to eye, so they'd rather never see each other again. They'd rather never speak to each other again. I actually, as a matter of fact, just a few hours earlier this morning, I posted really a tongue-in-cheek comment on Facebook that I don't want to say, sparked up a political firestorm. It really didn't necessarily do that. But it really garnered some pretty interesting remarks from people on in varying ways, varying opinions. And I wrote, and I'll paraphrase, and I may get it right if I can remember. I don't have it in front of me, but I said, "Sorry, but unfriending a lot of people on Facebook because you didn't like who they voted for isn't a workout." Again, I probably butchered it, but you get the point. And I said it tongue in cheek, but at the same time, it really brings up the feelings of how important are our political beliefs that they somehow or supersede or take greater value than the relationships with these people that we've built. I mean, my family's not political, and I said this is about as political as I get with any sort of discussions when it comes to this. We didn't. I can probably count on one hand the number of political discussions I had with my dad or any other family member for that matter. And it pains me to think that my dad and I could have been at odds over some political topic, that we wouldn't speak to each other, that we wouldn't be there for each other, and then have him pass away and that be how it ended. That I know you're probably all thinking, how was I possibly going to kind of land the plane, if you will, and bring these two topics together? The book that I've written, and announcing it on this particular week of all weeks. To me, I spent too much time, and without giving away too much of the book, but you've heard this story before. I spent too much time not being the person I wanted to be for my family because I wasn't the person I wanted to be, because I wasn't happy with me. I was disappointed. I was upset. I was frustrated. I was angry with the adult that I had become. Health and fitness just played a role in it, and that's where the turnaround started for me. But I did not like the person I'd become. Politics had nothing to do with it, but I wasn't happy with the person I'd become. And I had a choice to make at that point. I could either continue down that same road and destroy the relationships that I had built with these people that I care about, that I love. Just take, for example, I wasn't the husband that I wanted to be. I wasn't the father to our 3 boys that I wanted to be, especially to our 2 older boys. And I had a choice to make. I could have allowed myself to continue going down that path, or I could do something about it to change it for the better. And thankfully, I chose the latter. I chose to do something about it. I chose to take responsibility for my actions, or lack thereof, and decided to change who I was and day by day make myself a better person all the way around in every aspect of life. So today, and I saw that in one particular exchange with someone who commented on my post this morning, where we wanted to keep blaming one person. And you know who that person is. I'm not going to share his name. It's like saying Voldemort or saying Beetlejuice. I'm not going to say his name. It's not important. It doesn't matter who it is. But ultimately, yes, this country of ours has been divided for a long time, and it only seems to be getting worse by the day. And it's only going to get worse, you would think, based on how this election unfolded. But ultimately, no one can successfully divide us. And I'll just speak for myself. No one can successfully divide me from my family or my friends unless I allow it to happen. It's as simple as that. I still am responsible for behaving the way I need to behave to be a good person, to carry myself in such a way that I'm a good person, and to make sure I'm taking care of the relationships that truly matter to me, because those will always come before any political beliefs I may have. So that's why, I'm landing the plane now, so you kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about here. Reclaiming my authentic self, a journey from fear to freedom, is about a choice or choices that I made back in my early adult life, where I chose to go down a bad path and be less than the person I could be and should have wanted to be. And the second half, or this part, I'd say the last, 10, 15 years of my adult life, where I work every day to be a better person. Am I where I want to be? Absolutely not. To be honest, I never will be. But I work hard every day to be that person. And I won't allow anything, political beliefs or anything else, to get in my way. And all of us shouldn't want that to happen either. But so many of us allow it to. We talk about needing to unify as a country, but that requires all of us doing that. If even one person doesn't get that memo and doesn't, I don't want to say fall in line, but be in agreement with what the rest of us think we should do, it's not going to work. Anyway, I just felt the need to kind of share that, and I thought that this was a good opportunity. I'm not trying to take anything away from the book, but I wanted to give you a sense of why I chose to write this book and why I chose to announce it today. Some of you already knew. I've been working on this for a while, but I wanted to show that life is about a series of choices that we make every day. And each choice impacts the next and impacts the people around us that are in our world, that are in our inner circle. And unless we do right by ourselves and by them, we're going to be in a place we don't want to be. Anyway, that's what I got for you this week. I certainly appreciate it. I'll have more on this book as we move forward, so you'll hear more about it. Trust me, I'll speak ad nauseum about it. And hopefully you'll be okay with it regardless. And but otherwise, hope you're all doing well. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great week. Let's have a great life. And always remember that fitness is our business. Thanks so much for listening. I hope what we've shared on this show truly resonates with you. If you want to learn more about the health and fitness services I provide, head to my website, fernandezfit.com. If you're ready to connect with me about health and fitness coaching, send an email to info@fernandezfit.com or a text to 814-504-7774. And of course, you can find me all across social media, Victor Fernandez 123 on Facebook, Fernandez Fit on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, as well as the Healthy Lives, Healthy Business channel on YouTube. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, always remember, fitness is our business.